For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson, you whippersnapper, you Jeremy Bradley here. 30 minutes of time-wasting fun on The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in today. Whippersnapper, you say? Yes, because I'm feeling very old this week. Old. O-L-D. Old. I'm going to shout it. Old. And I'm going to tell you why. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I'm gonna angle this one to the 30 or 40 plus crowd today. That's how I'm gonna deal with this. And also, actually, two parents. Halfway through the show, I'm going to give my thoughts on parents and how they react to their kids in school. Is there rewards for getting good grades, or do the kids just want to get good grades because that's the cool thing to do? Or maybe the bigger question is that still the cool thing to do? Or are you a nerd? Are you a nerd because you got good grades in school? I don't know. This is where I've said this many times before. I'm glad I'm not a kid growing up in today's world. The pressures, the bullying, the fear, you thought you had it bad when you were a kid, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I went to the as they always said, it was the toughest high school in my city that I went to. And so the big fear was, bullying. I never once saw anybody bullied. Yeah, we had teasing back then, right? But it wasn't to the extreme that you have it now where, kids are being followed home and beaten up and stalked and thrashed because we didn't have social media, so there was none of that. But, wow, I'm off to a good start. We're only a minute and a half into the show, and we're already in the gloom and doom section of the episode today. But let's have a laugh at my expense in the next segment because I'm feeling old, O-L-D, and it starts on The Scribble right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month's supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
There's one time of the year that you just don't want to get sick. I think there's one time, maybe there's more than one, but it's generally the holidays. You know what I'm getting at here. And so back in the day when I used to work in other offices, I would want to get sick at the beginning of December just because then I could go and say, all right, I've got it out of my system. I'm not going to be, sick over Christmas or anything like that. Because in our family, and I've joked about this for years, we're practically Jewish. And I'm not, here we go, you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm saying we basically have it's almost about 4 or 5 days of Christmas get-togethers. That's what I mean. Hanukkah's, so many days, and same thing with our Christmas. And it's great because we overeat, we overdrink, and then we just loaf for the next however many days after that. But when you're sick, it's just horrible because, especially now, you're not going to go to the dinners and things, right? I would hope you're going to stay away from your family, unless they're not loved ones, unless they're just ones. And so I remember saying that also 2 years ago when I worked in an office, and I would actually try to count to 10 before somebody would cough or sneeze around me. And I remember actually turning to somebody. I don't remember what. I remember saying it to her. I don't remember where. It was an office anyway. And I just said, it's like a fucking hospital ward in here. Like, you hear, and then I go, 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody sneeze. I'll start the clock again. 1, 2, and I could not. I would do this because I didn't work very hard there. I would do that for a very long time, and I could never get to 10, which was sort of like, it just makes you feel gross. And this is long before the Corona days. So this is when you wouldn't be too weirded out. Only in recent years when people, if they don't sneeze into the crook of their arm, then you look at them as gross, right? But you never looked at anybody weirdly if they just sneezed into their hands before, because that's what you did. Or you coughed into your fist, right? That was just kind of the norm. But now, right, if somebody doesn't sneeze into the crook of their arm, they're just a gross person. So anyway, I don't know why I went on about that. But anyway, so the holidays, that's where I'm going here. I'm actually talking about age in this segment, so that was almost like a perfect setup, going, hey, you're a rambling old, you're President Biden. You don't even really know what you're saying. You're just going on and on. So a couple of weeks ago, I hiccuped and hurt my shoulder, okay? And just to recap, I turned 40 in August, and when you have a milestone birthday like that, everybody is making the jokes, right? Everybody's cracking the over-the-hill joke. My accountant had, a whole bunch of like pink flamingos and everything put on my front lawn for my 40th birthday. So these people like descended on my property in the middle of the night. And so it's that, the over the hill jokes and what have you. Okay, so I hiccuped the other week and hurt my shoulder. I don't want to say I threw out my shoulder, but I hurt my shoulder. It was just weird. And it was Sunday night. I had sent the dogs out to go to the bathroom before bed, and I went upstairs just to get the bedroom ready. And we have, about 8 or 9 steps, and then you've got that platform, and then you turn around, and then you go up the next 3 stairs, right? Just to go up. And I got to the platform, and I went to the next 3 stairs, and I put my hand on like the rail, or like the thing that a partial wall that goes up the stairs. And all of a sudden, it was like I got stabbed or shot in the back. Now, full disclosure, I've never been stabbed or shot before, so I don't exactly know what that feels like, but it was intense pain. Now, I am not somebody who gets headaches or has any sort of body aches or pains ever. To take like Tylenol or Advil or anything, we don't even have that in our house because we're very healthy people, knock wood on this, right? And so I go down, like I'm down on the floor at this point, and I was just like, oh my God, what happened? And I just either pinched a nerve or whatever. I was on my knees on the floor, and I'm sitting here going, oh my God. And then I'm just sitting there, and I thought, I can't stand up, I can't really move. Husband is kind of like, he thought I fell down the stairs. And so he comes running up, and then he tries to help me, and then I'm screaming even more because that just hurts even worse. So I can't really, he's wanting to help me, but I can't really be touched. It was almost like my body was crippled into not a sitting position. I would almost say the fetal position. It was very strange. And so he's trying to help me stand. Can't do that because my lower back is killing me. I just did something to my back. And the only way, because now I've got to get back down the stairs, I hadn't brushed my teeth, I didn't have my retainers in, we have a very sexy household at night. And so I was like, oh, I can't. I was probably maybe 15 feet or so from the bed, but I wasn't ready for bed. So I'm not no, I've still got to go downstairs. I've got to brush my teeth, got to do the retainers. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. How do I? So I basically tried turning around, but I would sit and it would hurt. I don't know if it was my tailbone or what, but anyway, I was in great pain. So I was literally, and when I know what the word, I'm not somebody on Bachelor or Bachelorette, I know what the word literally means. I was literally crawling in the house. I was on all fours going from one room to the next. I would try to slowly stand up. So I was almost kind of like in a squatting position, but I just couldn't stand up fully. I couldn't get, good posture, standing straight up. I couldn't. I was basically standing like a Kardashian, presenting my ass, which is fine in my household, depending on the mood. But I was definitely not in the mood at that point. And so I could hold on to the wall and walk from it, and it was just ridiculous. And so this is a time where you almost want to have pain relievers in your house, just because, I always laugh at my parents because they're constantly, their medicine cabinet is, I think, open more than the fridge is at their home. And we don't have anything like that. And this was, it was Sunday, probably close to midnight. So I'm thinking, I don't think any of the stores are open around us. We don't really have Walmart used to be open 24 hours, but I think they've been either robbed or whatever too much that they just don't. And so it's holy crap. So then the next morning, very early, I send the husband out to go and get any kind of pain reliever. We had creams like that you put on it heats the area, and then like stickers or whatever that you put on the pain, and then taking pills, and it was just like, oh my God. And so this is saying to me, like, I didn't even do anything. It's one thing if you are, picking up a heavy box, or you're, just whatever, doing something physical, or something. But I literally put my arm on, the railing or whatever, the wall, and that's what did it. I turned the corner and I stepped up and put my arm out, and that took me out for almost like 2 days. And so it was just, I couldn't, so that night, so Sunday, I didn't go back upstairs. I was just like, I'm going to sleep on the couch. That's fine. I can't even do, if I were to count, it's probably maybe 15 steps or stairs in total. I was like, I'm not even going to try it. Why put myself through that? I'm closer to the couch. I've brushed my teeth, got the retainers in, go up, take the dogs upstairs, or they'll sleep down with me. And so I was on the couch, and I kind of thought that it would be something where you would just sleep it off. Like that happens sometimes where, if you have a headache, you take a nap, you wake up, you feel fine. You might have a little body ache or pain. But again, here's dummy here who I don't have pains ever when it comes to things. So it was still pretty intense on Monday. And then I was like, well, I'm a bath person, so let me just go into the bathtub Monday morning. But there's also getting in it. I've got to step up, right? I couldn't do the stairs. So stepping into the tub, I can't have husband lift me into it because that was just even more killer. So I'm like holding his hand and trying to lift my leg up and go into the tub. And then, sitting down, like laying down was fine, but it was anytime like I would sit up or just try to move. And it was so weird that eventually, gradually throughout the day, I don't know if it was the medication or not, it got a little bit better. But then there were just these times when there would be like a sudden, almost like a jolt. Like just a zik, and you'd have to kind of go down again. Okay. And then I could walk. I could do, 10, 15 steps, but I needed to make sure that the wall or something was near me that I could hold on to it. But if I sat for too long, or if I, it came right back. It was like starting at zero all over. And yeah, it was crazy. It was just nuts. And so I'm better now because it was Friday now, and this happened Sunday night. By Tuesday afternoon, because I usually will walk about 5 kilometers. For those, I don't know how many miles that is. I'm Canadian, but I would walk at least generally about 5 kilometers, about 4 times a week or so. And so Tuesday, I was kind of like, well, I'm kind of getting anxious. You know how if you work out and you don't work out for a couple days or whatever, your body starts to feel it. So my body was just like, we need to get up, like we need to do something. Meanwhile, the body is actually saying we can't do anything, we shouldn't move. But I guess And you go on the internet too, and you look, well, what do I do if I throw out my back? Do I hot compress, cold compress? Do I do this? Do I stretch? Do I exercise? Do I rest? What do I do? And I just kind of thought, well, you know what? I'm walking, so I'm going to look like Mr. Burns just took it up the ass for 5 hours, but you know what? It's still exercise. And eventually, I think that I probably did about the same amount of walking that I would normally do in a day. That by the time I got home, I was kind of almost walking upright and feeling it. But then again, you go and sit on the couch for a few minutes, for an hour or so, or whatever it is, and then you get up and you're like, oh, there it is again. So then you go, you always find the strength to get to the medicine cabinet to pop more pills. I realized that as well. That was like, I might have to crawl to the back door to let the dogs out, but I can get to the bathroom to pop more pills from the medicine cabinet. But yeah, I don't know if this is... I've heard some people say that as soon as they turned 40, it was like just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And I've noticed it where it's like, oh, my shoulder or this or my back or my, my thighs or my legs or my feet sometimes if I'm walking too much. But I don't know if that's just coincidence. Is it age? So I want to hear from the 40 pluses. Or any age, and even if you hit 30, because I think that there's some people who have told me, I don't know if it was 30 or what, yeah, somewhere in their 30s, people will feel it as well. But what age did you kind of start to feel, not that you were necessarily going downhill, but that you noticed a change in your body? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. There we go. Now, we're going to take a break. I'm going to come back and talk to you about... Because I'm feeling old today, I'm going to talk about back in the day when I was in school and getting good grades just because that was the right thing to do. More on the Scribble right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today, 800-319-0582.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
JB here, back on the Scribble. All right, so I turned 40. I mentioned that earlier. I'm not a parent, though. I mean, I've got 2 dogs, and we have a rabbit as well, but I'm not a parent to children, to 2-legged children. And so I always have that critical opinion of how parents are raising their kids. And by that, I mean ignoring their kids and staring at their phones all day. Because there's just something, when you go to a mall and you see, I'm going to say teen mom, because she's the one who typically is more attached to her phone than, and I've gone to my nephew's actual hockey or soccer games, and I see the moms, both parents are often, and so these are parents in their, 30s or 40s that are glued to their phone and not paying attention. And it's kind of funny because this is when the kid actually wants their attention from mom, wants the attention from mom and dad, and then when the kid turns into be a teenager. And I wrote about this in my book, Put Down Your Damn Phone Already. I was at a restaurant one day, and there was a kid who was trying to tell his mom about his science project or science something or other that he was doing. And she was totally into her phone. And I was almost like, oh my God, Mom, you're going to wait for the day when your kid or you're talking to your kid and he's paying attention to the phone and totally ignoring you. And that's where you can go and say, there you go, Mom, you did this to me at such and such a restaurant. Do you remember? And now I'm doing it to you. So anyway, I've heard now that, and it's a common thing, I guess, for parents to reward their kids for getting good grades. And I don't remember ever. My mom was a teacher, so full disclosure, my mom worked at the elementary school that I was at, so it was a little bit different. I couldn't do anything bad. We couldn't really act up because it was like, well, my mom's just down the hall, so if I do anything, I'm going to get in shit, and it's just not worth it. When I got into high school, that's when I rebelled and really became a dick because she had no connection to my high school that I went to, so I was I was looking forward to that. But kids being rewarded, getting gifts, prizes, rewards for getting good grades. I mean, I've seen it on TV shows where it's like, oh, you get $5 for every A that you get or $20 for every A. That I don't know that was really a thing when I was growing up. Remember, I've been out of school now for over 20 years, so, times have changed. But what do you think about this? Because is that motivating for the kid? Like, I always wanted to be the best at spelling and the best at math and the best at, those were really, because there was sort of just this competition that we had with our classmates, right? You wanted to be the first one done, the assignment so that you can kind of sit there and wait for everybody else. That was our motivation. You wanted to get the best grade so that you weren't the stupid kid. You wanted to do, because we also, Sometimes, now I guess you could consider this to be rewarded, but it wasn't necessarily for grades. You might get a longer recess, or you might get, a prize from the teacher or something like that. But I don't know that you weren't getting that to get the good grades. Like, that wasn't the motivation. Oh, I'm going to finish first so that I can win a pencil. It was just sort of a benefit of it. Like, it was just sort of a bonus. And so, but with parents though, I mean, if that's sort of the aim, okay, well, if you get all good grades, I'll get you a new phone. I mean, I guess if it works, fine. But I don't know. Why not just want to be the smart kid without having to get prizes for it? I mean, that's maybe just the generation that I was in, or maybe just the school that I went to, or the neighborhood that I grew up in. So tell me, did your parents, and again, I'm talking to the 30 pluses, did your parents give, like, I don't know, did you get stuff for being smart? And, tell me what you think about that. Again, the email address, live@jbonair.com. I mean, I guess it goes back to that whole thing about participation trophies for everything, right? Because a kid wants to be acknowledged and wants to, get a pat on the head for doing it. But it was kind of like, ugh. And again, just because, again, we were ashamed. We were embarrassed. We didn't want to get a bad grade because you would just sort of feel like you were letting your parents down. So it was a little bit of a different, like, I remember this was grade 7. I will never forget that I had all A's on my report card except for a C in science. Was it science or math? Because I did really, really poorly at those in junior high and high school. Oh, crap. Now it's funny that I just told you that I remember this perfectly and that I don't remember which course. Nevertheless, my point is that I had all A's and 1 C in a subject. I mean, not embarrassing because my dad didn't even graduate junior high. So, it's not like he was, who is he to sort of criticize, right? And go and say, oh, well, you guys say, well, Dad, fuck off. You didn't even, I'm already in a higher grade than you were. So shut up. But there was just something about that whole thing of, I let myself down. It wasn't that, because I didn't get, who would get in shit, right? I mean, your parents have to be like pretty fucking strict if you're going to get in trouble for having all A's and 1 C or 1 C plus on your report card. Like, come on, I'll take all those A's. I'd rather have my kid doing that than getting all F's, failing out of class, or taking a gun to school. And, well, we're not going to get into that. But you know what? All A's and a C plus or C, that's pretty good. But for me, there was just that whole, like, it's not all A's. And so that was putting that pressure on me to do it. It had nothing to do. I honestly don't even remember if my parents said anything. Maybe it was kind of like, oh, my dad would have razzed me about it, but it certainly wasn't anything to make me feel stupid because, again, look how far he got in school. He did not. So, but tell me again what you think about this whole rewarding good grades. I mean, I guess, I would say that if it was something that a parent just does, but if you go and put a monetary value, I guess maybe that's sort of what it is that I'm paying you for every A that you get. Maybe it's one thing to give you, a phone or some kind of gift as like a congratulations or whatever, but I guess it's that influence and like doing it for them. You should want to be smart on your own. And if you happen to get something in exchange or return, fine, but that shouldn't be the reason. I mean, it's not that I'm flip-flopping on my point here, but it's a little bit like, I don't know, it just kind of feels weird. Be smart because that's the right thing to do, kids, if any kids are listening. Just be smart and be a good kid. That's my message to you. And parents who are going to come at me and go, you don't have kids, you don't know what it's like. Oh, fuck off. Be a smart kid. Why wouldn't you want your kid to have advice like that? Be a smart kid, stay out of trouble. There you go. And that should be your motivation to get all A's or to make the honor roll or whatever it is. Let's get back to that kind of education. That's what I want to see. I hear now about how kids are doing these drills about active shooters and hiding in the cloakroom and hiding at your desk and turning off the lights and closing the door. I want the kids to focus on getting all A's and not being stupid. Because here's the deal. When your TikTok page fails, and I'm waiting to see the next generation, like if this is how you're making your money now, that's great, but you need to have longevity. And we haven't actually gone through long enough yet to see how people can sustain that business model. OnlyFans is the big thing right now, but you need to keep coming up with content so that people are going to want to stay tuned into to your page and keep paying you for it. Ditto with TikTok. It's great if you figured out how to make money being a goof on YouTube or using a webcam in your parents' basement. But do you have enough in you for another 10 years of content, 8 years, 5 years to stay relevant? That's the big thing here. So let's look at this, kid. So going back to, I'm talking to the kiddos here, talking to the kiddos on this, but just be smart about things. I want the kids to be learning shit like that, and I'm not even going to excuse my language. I've done this. I'm 40 years old. You know what? I'm a successful entrepreneur making well over 6 figures a year. Listen to what I'm saying here. Is, just learn because that's the right thing to do. Stay in school, get an education. Now, I'll be the first person to go and say, hey, look, my education in broadcasting and journalism and everything is way out of date considering where we are now in the world of newspaper and radio and things like that. So my education is irrelevant for the most part now because it just is the way things have evolved in the world. So I would say that there's many professions, because when I had to drop out of college because I couldn't afford it, I had some friends trying to give me this pep talk and going like, look at all these millionaires and billionaires that didn't graduate college, didn't graduate high school. Look at where they are. Look at how they come. Because I felt really bad about it. I was embarrassed. My parents weren't helping me pay for college. And so I was just like, well, I'm not going to go into student debt for the rest of my life. My oldest brother did, and it was many, many years of him paying it off. And so I'm going to go back when I can afford to pay for school. And again, there's that richness of your mom's a teacher and your dad's a dropout, but yet they were trying to make me feel bad about not going back. And it's like, but I love what I do. I want to do this. It's not that I'm quitting college because I don't like it. I can't afford it. So you can't be a hypocrite and tell me to do it and then not help me pay for it. Now, I realize that, yes, when you're an adult, that's on you. Once you turn 18 or whatever it is. But I kind of feel, and this isn't anything about my parents, because I think that I didn't need to finish school, because look at, again, best-selling author, covering red carpets in Los Angeles. We've got an office and a place in West Hollywood. And, I've interviewed hundreds of celebrities. I've done everything that I've wanted to do in my career. So I'm certainly not blaming my parents. And I just, like I said, I wouldn't go back and finish school because I already know how broadcasting and journalism works. But what I'm saying is it's very hypocritical of a parent to go and say, I'm not going to help you, but I'm disappointed that you... Like, I kind of feel it's one thing to get, a handout or get a car from your parents or whatever. I feel like education should be something that parents would maybe make a priority. If you're going to help your kid out, it's not to get an apartment, it's not to buy a car, it's not to go on vacation, it's not to go... Paying for education, though, that's something that I would pass. I'd give a pass to a parent on doing that. I just would. A luxury car for their 18th birthday or 21st birthday, no. But if they're going to give you a college fund and stuff like that, absolutely. Like, that's perfect. Again, depending on what it is that they want to do. I don't know how we got off on that. Paying for good grades. There you go. Well, now doesn't that almost just tie into exactly what I've been saying? No, I guess not really. Those are two kind of different things. Helping pay for college is sort of different than rewarding good grades. But whatever. Anyway, send me an email. We got to go. Live at jbonair.com. Back after this on The Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble, almost out of time. Bonnie, our producer, was just saying to me, she's like, okay, let's go right after the show because I got to go Christmas shopping. And then I look at the calendar, I'm like, I haven't even started Christmas. I don't even. How many days until? Well, it's not even. But no, unless we're like a week away. I haven't started yet. I don't know that that's a guy thing. See, that used to be sort of the joke, is that, oh, guys wait until the last minute. But now that is so sexist. You can't say that. That is so sexist to say that. Can you say that guys wait until that's so. Well, how often do we hear that, right? We always hear that's chauvinist and male toxicity or whatever they say. What do they call it? Toxic masculinity. There we go. I don't know. I mean, for years on this show, I've said, if you don't have a sense of humor and if you got to stick up your ass, don't listen to the show, because we're here to have fun and just be goofs. So there you go. And don't send me any hate mail, because I'm not going to read it. So there, up yours. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I love all of you. And send me your feedback live at jbonair.com. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some